Chair, go ahead and call the Budget Committee meeting to order. We do have some minutes. March 9th.
Motion approved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. It's all you. Take off.
Okay, so we have the financial report inside our packets this time. If you see any questions, please hold them until Aaron gets back.
At least she's honest.
The most honest person in this room. Right here.
That was good. I like it.
Moving right
Way to
along.
go, LeBron.
I love it. Keep going.
We do have a couple of budget amendments. The first one is coming from our office. We pay for communication services out of our office because it hits so many different accounts. And we want to make sure that that is done in a timely manner. So that's why it comes out of our office. We happen to notice that these different departments are going to fall short due to the increase. So we're asking to adjust and account for that before the end of the fiscal year.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Next, we have the health department. They are asking to fund $1,000 into their office supply line for their dental wing to adjust for some different items for their second dental person. And then we're gonna move $2,000 into the correct line because that was not done correctly the first time, so I apologize.
Motion approved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
We have a request from the health department for an additional not an additional, they want to hold back $14,112.05 for new cameras and door lock system for their safety. This will come out of their line that we normally pay to the state. So the county wouldn't really have to, it's not an additional ask for money, it's just holding it back to pay for that.
Motion approved.
Second. Have a motion and a second to approve 14,000+ health department. Any questions, concerns? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
LeBron, you'll get me a budget amendment on that for Monday?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Next, we have information technology. They are needing to adjust some of their lines because they're falling short due to this increase in cost in some of the items that they're purchasing.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. Any questions, concerns? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Next, we have the sheriff's department. This is an increased number. We're just asking to move this into their training line for their salary supplements. The state's already reimbursed us. We just need to move the funding over there so we don't fall short in that line.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. Any questions? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Where do you go? Oh, Jeff, do you want us to just go ahead and do these, or do you want to talk about them? There's two budget amendments from the school system. Both budget amendments, neither one of them are requesting additional funds from fund balance. Where'd it go?
1,500. One's 1,500.
Amendment 23-10 has to do with training and adding line items due to cost increases. Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say
You
aye.
made the motion, who seconded?
Amendment 23-11, carryover funds. And it's, from what I understand, this is just spending money in the correct line item. Is that correct? Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mayor, do you have anything you'd like to share?
Just got one thing with you here. We'll get a resolution. We've already sent a sample to Mike. Mike hasn't had a chance to look over it yet. That is sent to us by the Attorney General, and that is where the opioid settlement monies are coming in. They just have asked that all the county mayors run the resolution, sample resolution through the county commission, giving me the authority to take advantage of any money that comes our way, and then notify you of the money that comes in and how it's gonna go out. So that's what the resolution's about. And they just send it to all the counties, so we don't get the money either way it goes, but that just allows this signature to be official with your approval.
Okay, is there any, anything else from committee members?
And you need to send that on. Yeah.
Oh, we need to approve
We
that.
just-
So
Yes.
moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody from the committee? Anything you want to share?
Happy Easter to all.
From the gallery?
Betsy, you good?
The judicial committee
Yeah.
sent, it should have been a budget amendment, or there was a request, I don't know, about a half of the, one spot, one. So, but I don't see the budget amendment in here, so.
It was on there.
Betsy is here. She brought it through judicial, what, Monday night? Or Monday night a week ago?
Mhm.
Can you,
Can you talk about that?
somebody?
Is there anything in office, or do you know?
Come on, pull up a chair.
Because I think he-
So, and assuming you guys don't have a copy of any of this.
No, ma'am.
Yeah.
You need one for sure.
There we go. So, what I had requested through judicial committee is a new position for our youth service department. Just for reference, I'm gonna drop Mike Kurtz's name. He was a YSO in 1996, and there were 3 full-time employees at that time. And now, 27 years later, we only have 4. And we all know how Wilson County has grown in the past 27 years. And the need is urgent, because we've started so many new programs. Everything in red there that you see on the sheet is everything new that we've started in the past year, along with the normal YSO duties, and they're stretched so thin that we really can't be proactive and start anything new, or I guess I should use the word progressive and start anything new until we get some sort of relief. Judge Tatum has taken a more proactive approach as opposed to reactive with some new programs that we started in regard to mentorship programs in the schools. That's exploded. He's applied for a safe baby court. We started a website. There's something called ACEs testing, and that's very time consuming. And what I realized when we went in front of the judicial committee after some discussion at the table is my timing might be a little bad here. And I realized that, and I didn't realize it at the time, but Gary Vandiver, who is our truancy board coordinator, he announced that he's retiring last month he announced that he's retiring at the end of the year. And I really wanted to go ahead and get the ball rolling on hiring someone to fill his shoes, because they need to observe, learn, and train under him, just because he's done such a great job with truancy board, and I want to make sure we keep that momentum going. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk about this request, but I also don't want to put this committee in an uncomfortable position or spot on acting on this need out of turn and maybe start some sort of bad precedent for the future. But I will say the need is urgent, And that's why I had approached my committee with it a couple weeks ago, because I realized that we need to go ahead and get somebody in there before Gary retires.
So what's the request?
Well, my request is to be approved to hire a new full-time spot for our youth service position for the juvenile services division, and that would, entail a little. Well, so I had requested a spot and a half, and what they approved was for the new position to come through budget right now, and the part-time that I wanted to go full-time would be in my needs request for next year, if that makes sense.
And what's the cost?
It would be $72,926.17.
Let's see. And this would be coming from fund balance?
That'd be recurring.
Yeah, it'd be fund balance. What'd you say, 72,926?
Yes, sir, 17.
Thank you.
So the request is to go ahead and hire one full-time person for the cost of $117,000.
The one full-time position would be $72,926.
The 117 is for that other part-time going to full-time.
Yeah, but the.
So the 117 is
What
the
did
total for the two requests.
Right, but,
What did the committee approve?
One spot. Not the 1.5, just one.
Okay.
And that's the 72,000.
mhm,
Okay.
What was that?
72,926.17.
Is that broke out with all benefits?
Yes, Aaron had done that.
Okay, I do realize this is an important position, as far as I'm concerned, dealing with juvenile services. I know some people are worried about setting a precedent as doing something like this at this point in time, but kids are very important. And of course, if you know me, you know why I say that. Well, I'll hush right now. Any other comments from the rest of the committee at this point in time before we move on?
I'd just like to add a little bit from my standpoint in law enforcement. A lot of what we deal with out of Nashville, I feel, is a lack of their youth services, right? We constantly get juveniles that come into our community that have been committing violent crimes. They commit serious crimes, and the number one reason our crime goes up with car burglaries or even violent offenders is they're juveniles out of Nashville, and I would hate to see Wilson County ever turn into that. You know, right now we have a good thing going for us where we don't have too many of our kids causing problems. It's a lot from the outside in. And I think we need to do whatever we can to support our youth services programs. Our schools, our judge, the youth services programs, I think do a big, big job of keeping this community safe.
Mr. Chairman, can Judge Tatum speak to it?
You want to say anything about it?
Well, I appreciate the comments on it, but one of the things I gripe about this, and you've seen it firsthand in the classroom, is you can take a posture of either being proactive or you can take a posture of being reactive. And what we're trying to do right now with the team that Betsy's put together over there in the juvenile services is try to educate our public, try to put some intervention steps in place to hopefully redirect some kids that are at that point, middle school point, where they may be heading in a bad direction. We're going to be getting the kids out of Davidson County, and we're going to deal with them when they come up here. But I think we've got an opportunity here to grow our presence in the community, educate our parents, hopefully get our faith community involved to some extent, civic clubs involved to some extent, and each of you to educate our public about, we're losing a grip in our country.
Amen.
And when we have what's going on down there at the school in Nashville and every other school around, none of us want that ever to happen here. And I would hate to see the day, and I'm not saying this is a guarantee to prevent it, but I want to be able to look in the mirror and say, we did everything that we could. I know it's something that bothers Lebanon Special and Wilson schools every day, and I'm sure every night when you put your head down, you're wondering what's going to happen tomorrow, because there's a evilness in our country that we need to tackle head on.
Amen.
That's so much I'm preaching.
So that we can get a person in here before, where is this person supposed to retire?
At the end of the year.
December.
But he just started this program last year and it's exploded and it's a full-time plus position and he's gold standard and I want to keep that going. It's keeping a lot of cases out of court off of our dockets and I want somebody to really train under Gary because he's got so many years experience.
I agree that it's, I feel like it's important to get this person in there before this retirement goes through where they can hit the ground running when he leaves. So I'll make a motion to approve this.
Second.
So I understand, the person retiring was certainly gonna replace them, but you're adding an additional person.
Yes,
We'll
sir.
have two.
Yes.
Okay. I don't think there's anybody sitting here at the table that's not in favor of doing this, but how do we financially go about doing it? What is the idea?
So it's gonna come from the general fund now, and then it's gonna come out of your fund, it's gonna come out of your growth money, next year. But I'm completely for everything that's talked about. You're 2 months away from your budget though, and I think that's the problem that we get into is, okay, and we say, gosh, we gotta have this one. But I can't say that anybody else that comes to me don't have to have theirs either. They're all important. So the timing is, as Betsy said, it's tough for us. You know, just like the amendments you approved for the sheriff the other day, that stays in his budget, that comes out of growth money too. So everything you add right now eats away at whatever growth money you're gonna look at for next year every time you take out of the general fund. So just, I mean, I'm not negative, I'm just saying that, we end up having to deal with the rest. And
That's paper.
nobody may not come in the next 2 months, but we are close to budget. But I understand her situation. Hey, let's get somebody in there, let's get them trained, and then you're gonna turn around on the backside and hire the person to take Gary's place. I mean, I got that.
And I've worked with Mr. Gary, does a great job, and it is it's a very unique situation, and that's why I'm going to second this. And so, there's a second on the table.
You need to reword your motion, how we're gonna pay for it.
I think if you approve it, it just automatically comes out of the general fund. Yeah, you don't have any other choice. That's where it's gotta come.
Okay, is any additional comments or questions?
Is your motion for the position and a half or just one?
Just one.
72.
That's what the committee approved,
Okay.
and we'll follow the committees. Anything else? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else from anyone
Hey,
in the
thanks.
gallery? Got other motions?
Bad.
Never mind.
No,
Hey, I got one thing, good news, I think, most of you's heard about Mount Juliet seems to have run to Costco. The mayor in a meeting last week, what Costco tax revenue generated is between 2.5 and 4 million a year into the school system. And that same amount into the city coffers. So that's a pretty good deal. And then to finish that up, they recruited a Cadillac dealership a week later. So things seem to be doing pretty well like this.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank y'all. Y'all be safe going home.